Welcome back, everybody. So, today we are going to talk about something we all deal with: loss and grief. But before we start to talk about that, let's just always evoke the light. So, take a long, deep breath. You can actually connect with your heart and your belly. In your belly is where the solar plexus is, where all the emotional upheaval of our lives resides. So let us call in the light and ask that the light fill us, surround us, protect us, uplift us. Just feel the light coming in and settle inside your heart. And as we exhale, let go of anything you do not need to hold on to. As you exhale, let go of the tension. As you inhale, bring more loving, more expansion, and more peace to yourself. So I have found that loss basically awakens us to a deeper part of ourselves and awakens us to a more of our spirit. Loss leads you to unknown new territories about yourself, teaches us that there is nothing permanent. It's hard to go through the change, but if you look back in your life, every change you experienced, it could be a loss of a relationship or a loss of a job. It could be a loss of something that you really loved that went away. And if you look back, you'll see that it did lead you to unknown new territories about yourself. You see, our identity is wrapped up around what we have, what our relationships are, our sense of security. And any loss shakes that identity. And the shaking of our identity is not a negative thing. Yes, it can be very painful, very difficult. But it's actually teaching us how to identify with who we truly are, with the spirit, with the soul, with the spiritual consciousness. Any identification with what we do, what we have, our bodies, our circumstances, our homes, is very legitimate. That we as human beings, we identify and we cling to those things. I had a friend of mine who lost her house in Hurricane Katrina. She had also lost a lot of friends. Then 3 years later, her husband died of cancer. And at some point, she was also diagnosed with cancer and left her job. I mean, she really went through the dark night of the soul. It was very hard for her to find her happiness and her balance again in her life. So she decided to create a company called Life's About Change, which provides a platform of support, encouragement, and optimism to people who are going through change. She created this platform to celebrate change in a way that was transformative because she dismantled so much in her life that she was able to still find and have her joy. So we are all not strangers to loss. Within that loss, I promise you, there is growth. Growth, unfortunately, is often thrown upon us through loss. It's great if we grow from seminars of Mind Valley quests, or reading books, or relationships, or having all the positive growth. That's fantastic. But often, we judge the other kind of growth. The growth through loss, we judge it as negative. I know for me, I suffered grief when my parents died 3.5 months apart. I was very, very attached to my parents, and I felt for about a year like I was walking around with no arms. I felt like I had had surgery. It was very painful. I was grief-stricken. I felt it on a cellular level. I had so much grief that I completely lost my joy. And it was only after a year that I felt I started to get my wings back. My love for my parents and their love for me was such a big part of my identity that I had over identified with what I had lost. I had lost that physical affection and connection to my parents. There are many instances where I faced loss. I had many projects that I attempted to do, and I remember spending tremendous amounts of energy, raising money, trying to make them happen, only for there to be no green light. I was very attached to making them happen, and it's extraordinary when I look back now in hindsight, I can see how attached I was to them succeeding. I realized that it was the attachment that was causing me stress and pressure and causing me to lose my joy. If this happens, I will be happy, I will say. If I get a green light on this project, I will be so happy. If I don't get it, I'm going to be miserable. Of course, when we love someone, the hardest thing is losing them because it's so final and it shakes us to our core. So don't underestimate how hard it is to go through loss. But what I want to show you and teach you is to become aware that as hard as it is, it's like carving a cement wall for the light to come in. It's hard. But as you keep carving and chipping away and doing everything you can, and the wall will break, and you'll suddenly see a new vista. You will see that attachment was creating a lack of awareness of your true spirit. So, my friends, every loss that we experience in our lives and that we go through can potentially lead to a deeper spiritual awakening. Here is where I want to talk about expansion. You see, when your identity is tied to something or someone that is now causing you grief when you lose them, rather than trying to suppress it and cover it and smother it, we need to expand and allow the Spirit to fill us and to help us grow. We need to find the space inside ourselves where we actually expand, where we actually embrace this loss. We need to really open up so that your spirit can come and shower you with comfort, love, tenderness, and embrace you. Grief is like a soil that is untilled, and if you allow it to, Spirit can come in and plant new seeds. And then those new seeds will start to sprout. And they become the fruits of your life if you let it. But if you are attached to your grief, and if your judgment that this should have never happened to you, then you will not expand to make new room for the new to come in. I want to lead you through a short guided meditation to release any sense of grief or loss that you might be carrying. And if you have any lack of peace about experiencing a loss, just take a deep breath right now and exhale with a sound. And take another deep, long breath and exhale with a sound and hear yourself exhaling. Now allow the light to come in through your breath. Breathe in the light and exhale the love. Exhale any fear, any constriction in your heart. And with every breath, just move deeper into your heart. Allow the light to come in and to release any pain, that you might be feeling, any deep grief, any feelings of how bad this is, and how awful this is, and how despairing you might be feeling. And just bring it all to the surface. There's nothing wrong with it. If you feel like crying, let the tears come out. The tears are healing. The tears can bathe you and help you clear the grief. Let the light come in deeply into your heart. Let the breath come into your heart. And allow this light to start transmuting those feelings. Not fix them, but transmuting them. And in their place, bring loving, bring more acceptance, bring more relaxation, bring more space. And now gently see your heart opening up. It might feel very vulnerable in there, as if there is an angel of comfort and compassion, an angel of sweetness, an angel of grace. And let this presence that is so large, so much bigger than your grief, bigger than your fear, let this presence come in and love you and hold you, so you have love all around you. And take a deep breath again and keep exhaling. And now, wherever you are, allow yourself to go into this deep acceptance and presence. And see if that eased whatever loss you have left. Just ease whatever loss you are feeling. Anything that you have felt bereft about, just experience it and start to see it dissipate. When you're ready, open your eyes and keep connecting to your breath. And let's seal this with a blessing and a prayer. And every day, you'll come into greater peace and acceptance and sweetness, more love in yourself, in whatever Spirit has in store for you. In the Spirit, travel, and you might be able to release the patterns of what you've been holding back, the tears, the sadness, the anger, or the resentment, or fear, feeling sorry for yourself. Whatever it is, just allow it to release and come more into your connection with your spiritual essence. So let us come into a prayer. Dear beloved, I open my heart to you so I can find comfort in the pain of what I have lost. I ask that you may touch where all my tears, my sadness, and my pain sit. I feel at a loss as to how to ask for what I need, for I don't know what that is. So I ask for whatever relief, insight, awareness can be given to help me get through this loss, this sadness and grief with grace. Help me reach out to others that love me and allow their love to also heal me. Allow me to know that your love for me is there right now. For the part of me that is hurting, I ask to give myself permission to release the pain and let my tears flow to their fullest. In all this, I ask for your grace. I ask for patience, tenderness with myself. And in this process, I ask to let go as much as I can. I trust that this prayer is heard. In silence, I lift my heart to be at peace and comforted by you. So be it. So, my friends, Here's how you can find the space inside of you. First, it's very important to acknowledge that there is nothing to fix. It is our instinct. We always try to fix it. Instead, go into the deep acceptance, go into the surrender, go into the partnership with your spirit. And this will lead us to a deeper part of ourselves, beyond what we have identified with. Then, remember, be gentle with yourself. Meet yourself with compassion and look at it as a way to open up your heart to yourself. And then next, go from the physical light reality and expand to go into the spiritual reality. And the way to go there is to look through the eyes of love. Call in the spirit for yourself to help you expand your perception. Ask yourself, how would a masterful being look at the situation? That is a wonderful question to bring more answers and solutions to yourself. And finally, don't count down to the finish line. No matter what you're going through, the light is really with you in the tunnel where you are, because you are the light. And if you say, oh, we'll go through that and then find the light. No, the light is with you right now in whatever you're going through. So that's the thing to remember. It's not, I'm going to go through this and then I'll see the light and I'll feel better. Whatever you're going through now, you are in the light. You're not alone going through it. And that awareness will start to expand you into the awareness that you are the light. You are the spiritual consciousness. Pema Chodron, the wonderful teacher, has a beautiful saying, you are the sky. Everything else is just the weather. Don't go into it with an anticipation that there is a finish line and you're racing towards, and all your grief will immediately disappear once you cross it. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. You are the light. What happens then will be an immersion into your presence. You expand. You let go. And you exhale. So your practice for today will be to look at your life and write in your workbook or your journal, ask yourself, what loss have I suffered? And where is the area where I can bring more love to myself? And if there is anyone around you who is suffering loss, maybe the way to expand is to extend your love and your heart to them. And see how that process will start to make you feel more grounded, more peaceful, more connected, and more accepting. And I will see you next time. God bless you.